So today I'm marathoning my way through a bunch of films that I rented on Video Store Day yesterday. And the first one is a film by Sidney Lumet from 1986 that I discovered because it's the only film in which Richard Gere and Denzel Washington um, are together. And I found this by going to IMDb and doing that thing where you see what movies people have made together, because I was thinking I love Richard Gere and I love Denzel Washington and I wonder if they made a movie together. And they did. Unfortunately, this movie is not that great. It's got a lot of interesting things going on, and it's very timely for such a crazy election year. Yes, Hillary with my weird shirt. This shirt's too big. Anyways, can you see it? That's a terrible picture of Hillary Clinton like that. Anyways, it's about a man Richard Gere, who runs, he's a political strategist. I think that's what they call him. Oh, media consultant, but for politics. And he sort of follows the money and does the best, basically has candidates on every side of the board. And he gets hired to run for help run a rich dude in Ohio, played by J.T. Walsh, by his business associate, Denzel Washington, who is actually placing candidates for big oil, namely Saudi Arabia. There's a little of that anti-Saudis thing, sort of, that you see a lot in the 80s going on in this movie. Gere's ex-wife is also an investigative journalist who is looking into why the senator from Ohio that should be rerunning for his candidate dropped out. And there's all these threads, and they all work together. And the film is not as tense as it should be, and the insights aren't as fresh as you'd like. But at the same time, I think in 1986, the insights were probably very fresh, and they feel kind of ridiculous now, 30 years later, because they're essentially all the things that it's look, aha, we're pulling the curtain off on how politics are run. 30 years later, you're like, yeah, we know this. And but probably in 1986, it was whoa, and they throw LA Times under the bus for Nixon and all kinds of stuff that's just kind of wonderful. I also enjoy that Richard Gere was 37 and Julie Christie, playing his ex-wife, was 46, and they were just they're the same age. Julie Christie's shot with that glow that I think is in her contract to always be shot with. See also Heaven Can Wait. But what was I going to say? There's this moment where Richard Gere, Denzel puts his hand on Richard Gere's face, and I'm just make out. So and everyone has mustaches, which is great because I love mustaches. Gene Hackman plays sort of a washed up media consultant who was Richard Gere's partner at one point, but he tries to claim he's too honest, but Richard Gere sort of calls him on that shit as well, because nobody playing this game is honest. So it's one of those movies that wants you to think. It's Sidney Lumet, so it wants you to think, but unfortunately it's so haphazard and so episodic that you're just what exactly do you want me to think about? So that was too bad. It's a movie where it could have been so much better, and yet somehow wasn't, and so you kind of feel bad because you wish it were a great film, and instead it's just sort of a run-of-the-mill film. But you get lots of mustaches and Richard Gere in the shower, so that's really all I need in a movie. And the homoerotic tension between Richard Gere and Denzel Washington is sort of something I've been asking for my whole life. So, wasn't all around bad. I rented it from Videodrome in ATL. Videodrome here in Atlanta. I rented several films from them yesterday. It was Video Store Day, so you can rent that from them. I don't think it's available anywhere else, so if you can find the DVD, you can watch it. It's from 1986. Sidney Lumet's Power.